Yo, what's up, guys? Mikey in the building. I'm gonna go over my MNDR trade, why I traded it. But before I do that, I gotta play this video. My buddy Eric just sent it to us, and it's just funny. Maybe you'll hear the audio, maybe you won't. But it's time to fly. My buddy Cosmic made that one in the room. It's time to fly. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go over this trade. That thing had me dying. All right, MNDR. I had a couple of people in my room kind of ask me like, were you concerned about this kind of walk down? Um, in this particular situation, from a daily perspective, I wasn't. Just because we were trading at 52-week high volume already, we were already cranking above 24 mil, which was pretty much the highest volume that I had in a really long time, and at all almost. So this was gapping. We had this pre-market hour after hour pop and then pre-market sell off. So this popped up to 50s, right? 56s, 55s, and then kind of just sold off very slowly. All right. We didn't really have a 4 a.m. clear out where it gapped up even higher, which was great. So to me, this is very controlled sell off. All right, and this particular area right here is to me is key because this is where we actually had a volume dump. All right, and the fact that we did this nice week or weaker open right here and then started to trade bigger volume in this area was nice, right above this particular area. You could have easily put a zone in right there. For me, I was just using the book on this one down here, right? So to me, this is where you had that volume dump right down here. We had that weak open. So once we started to trade above this kind of zone right here, and we didn't have really any more follow through to the downside, I really thought 44s, 45s were great soak ads. That's what I had. That's what I soaked. There was a lot of 1 minute 50 accumulation on this one, which is really nice. This was 50% right here, so we did have some resistance into this. But to me, when I learned a lot from yesterday from Pike in my PRPH trade, and that was because I learned that I was position sizing is super super important. Okay, and what do I mean by that is PRPH, sometimes I would just slap right away, and build a huge position on that one. And then it hurt me because when it started to pull back a little bit, I was de-risking and then grabbing that same size again, de-risking. So I was chopping myself up. Yesterday, I ended up small red. So when I went into this trade, I made sure to accumulate, accumulate, accumulate. It started to go. That's fine. If it would have went, I would have had decent size. Accumulated, accumulated, and then right before this went down here, which is right here, I smacked more into this once this bidder showed up right here. And then it was nice because then we had more bids show up right here, and then we again accumulated over this zone right here. So that was really nice. All right, this accumulation to me was really nice. There's a couple things on the book. Um, this controlled offer right here actually got moved down to right here. They're relatively the same size right here, 255, and then again 211. So that controlled offer got moved to right here, and it was very important to see what happened once that liquidity was removed. Something from my PRPH trade yesterday when I sized in too much earlier is that when something like this happened, when it pulled back, since I didn't soak PRPH the right way, I was like hesitant, right? So now that I soaked down in these 45s, it was nice to be able to see the reaction and see how this reconsolidated, right? This right here, a lot of sellers got absorbed. All right, there's a lot of selling getting absorbed right here. Sellers tried, very aggressive, got absorbed. All right, And same thing right here, but the only difference right here is the selling pressure was a lot less than the selling pressure from right here. All right, that is a big, big deal. All right, another thing too is once liquidity starts to get removed, there's really not a lot of selling pressure going on anymore right here. So it's nice to see all this liquidity get attacked. And then in fact, all this liquidity right here is exactly 55s, which is pretty much our after hour high right here, right after our pre-market high. So then if you see right here on the 5, we actually broke through that liquidity, smack 60, and then we started again to actually put in some low volume pullback consolidations above our pre-market high. So that's what really kept me in the trade. 74 was a big target for me. By the time this actually broke out up here, I didn't have any more shares for this one right here. However, I did rotate one. I did get a nice rotation a couple of times off of trading this up a little bit higher, especially right here off that 60 level. I had a 60 level from right here. It's okay, and this brings me back to a good conversation I had today. You know, do these lower volume VWAP days hold a lot of weight? And I think maybe not, but I do keep them out to kind of use them as a guide, right? This one definitely filled the whole 200 SMA daily right there. So that definitely filled the gap on that one. This daily to me, right, is no different than trading a daily like BDLY or BLDY. What was that name? I can't get it right. Just went over it too. 1 second. KDLY. Sorry. I had to look at my my notes from all the runners that I take of every day. You know, it's no different than trading a name that when you look at a daily and you see that there's really not that much volume on it, and then now we start to gap up and we're trading volume, and then we start gapping up above previous volume days, which really are not that much. So that's something that I do look for on bottomed out dailies that have potential, and then volume starts to crank in. Same thing with AIFF. You know, like there's these dailies are actually very similar in a sense where they have more potential in them, because now, you know, this biggest VOP day, volume day was right here. We start to gap up and we're, you know, consolidating and start turning a lot of volume above 415. So this starts to crank, right? Now, these don't really have a lot of volume on these days. So do they hold a lot of weight? You know, definitely levels to respect, but definitely, you know, I'm really focused on this right here more than anything, right? So it goes the same thing with my MNDR trade. To me, this pop walk down, this is a lot of volume accumulated, right? So this is important. So now if this is a lot, this took after hours, all pre-market into open. Once we start to get above these levels, now it's time to see if we can base them and actually continue to fill more gap. You know, that's the name of the game of catching really good longs, is how much gap can we fill right there, you know. I even had, so 74s was a big level to me, like right here, and this actually filled even more. I mean, after that I was thinking 105s, right? Another kind of ceiling right here, this is a ceiling, becomes a ceiling right there. Bookwise too, you know. Let's go to those 60s now as that started to consolidate. Definitely right here. There's a lot of control right here. You know, this is why I like to book and use the book all the time. You know, to see the reaction of this control, even when this bidder gets pulled right here. These offers are controlling price action. They pull. We start to get some price action, and then a new bidder shows up right here, right? And then we start to see some bigger continuation. That was a key pivotal moment right here. So if you missed that trade and you saw this consolidation above all this swipe liquidity and see some type of control, and then a new fat bidder shows up, and this is the reaction we get, right? As we come, this bidder pops up, get an aggressive swipe consolidation. That front runner stays. They stack a little bit more. Now they're kind of playing games, which is cool to see, nonetheless, on that one. So that's important, right? Um, I did not play this leg right here. I did leave, but it's funny, that going back, you kind of see this same type of control and manipulation that was right here. That even happened down here, right? Now, once they start to pull these, this even does another bigger leg down, kind of breaks this support, right? But it does pull back to this previous area interest. So, for a later day rotation, this would have been nice to see. I definitely would have smacked that right here for sure, 100%. You kind of get that first downtrend break, retest. You can draw your lines or whatever, but I think this is a nice zone pocket hold right there to take a stab off of, and then you're risking a few pennies. That was the whole thing too with this early trade right here is like, I made sure to size into this, and then my risk is like 3-4 cents, right? So my risk essentially from this actually breaking down and getting heavy, I would say the max would be like, the max would have been 12%, but then really, am I going to hold for low a day? No. So maybe 8% risk. And this damn near went 100%, but I got a big chunk of sales off at 60. So, from here to 60, I got 50%, and I got some at 70s, and then I had the 25K for the 80 break. So I got 88%, and then I actually rotated 60K off this, and then grabbed another 60K. I actually chased this. This was a chase entry right here. Once I saw this kind of swipe again, I chased. I think I got like 70s on that one and got another scalp. That's when I started scalping. I started to scalp that, but that's okay for me. I made a chunk of my cash from soaking big size down here, catching 60s and 70s, and holding for a majority of this entire move right there. And then started to get in up here. Once we're up here, some of the things that I keep reviewing, and it's even like my MBRX trade that I botched, that I piked, every so often we're going to get these really nice backside daily 200 fills, and when there's abnormal volume and things like that, it's really something to look for. I really like seeing these as big price targets on these dailies that are definitely beaten down, really super controlled walk down, super controlled walk down. Now we're catching volume. It's time to play the game and actually look for some big moves out of those. MBRX, very similar to DCRT, something to review on that one. But, that's pretty much all I traded today. I did trade something else, but that was another penny. Just was kind of a quiet one for me, a little grinder to play. But no, so this control on this I did like. We do sometimes we get these full reclaims on them. But again, most important thing to me was where we were opening up. This was trading at 38, 39%, and we were already cranking 30, 40 mil, and then it started to crank even more as this consolidation pattern happened, and then we had steady. The volume on this was super, super strong and super steady. If you can see this right here, I mean, when we were consolidating right here, we started to consolidate millions, mills. Down here, it was super consistent to me still. There's definitely a couple areas where you see some big buyers step up on these pushes. So there was good volume, and then the consolidation volume stood pretty consistent. We were still consolidating millions at a time over here, and then we started to actually really crank even a little bit more up here. Definitely use the book a lot of this to keep me in the trade down here in the 40s. Definitely key moments all throughout right here. Again, it's very, very important for me to see how sellers get absorbed and then the reaction of that, and to really pay attention to the bids, the deeper bids, right? What's going on down here as this is building, and then also see how offers are getting pushed and pulled, and to see them lighten up at the top, and then see that, we're not gapped up that much. This is a big liquidity area to get taken out, and then what happens when that gets taken out, and then to see the continuation, and then think bigger, right? The stock's only up 30% down here. This is 50%. Once we crack that, what are the levels to really go down and chase, right? So to me, these don't hold that much weight. I still mark them. 60 cents to me was a big spot, and then to see this spot get filled was another big spot. And after that, we're kind of chasing that next big walk down, right? For some of you guys who look at a lot of structure, intraday, the daily holds a lot more weight, right? So if you can implement that into these daily structures and look for those type of gap fills from certain type of walk downs, right? If you see an aggressive walk down, if you see a controlled walk down, even this like right here, controlled walk down, like we're looking for this retracement, PRPH, sadly, I was right on this yesterday, but what time we got? Yeah, I was small red yesterday, which is fine, because small red, huge green day today. That's just how it goes sometimes when you're looking for bigger moves. But it's funny they do with this one. This was super, super controlled on the book. I'm talking about bid props. They pull it. You see it dump. They put more bids up. It's very, very, very controlled. You can definitely see volume come in, die out, volume come in, die out. It was very inconsistent on that one. I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about here. I usually save these books for a little bit before I get rid of them to see how the day kind of pans out. But right here, they finally put a bid. They pull it. They put some more bids. They pull it. They kept these lower ones. A couple times right here, they would bid prop. They pull it. You kind of see after the bid gets pulled, you see these little micro bids get pulled. So, and then it's funny because then today they drop news just to they drop news in the morning at 8 a.m. You see it kind of do this clear out, and then it still sells off today, and we're back down at 50s again. Basically where we started from down here, right? But definitely keep this one on watch, maybe, potentially. It does have this window gap down here to fill. We still have not tested it yet, so we'll see. MNDR was my main play today. I did not trade all these other ones. Getting better at trading JTI. Piked that one yesterday. Had the best freaking ads too, 540s. But that helped reduce some of my loss. So that's that. JTI actually made me less red, which helped me actually make most of my loss back from trying a couple other names. But learned a lot from this today, or the other day, and then reviewing that late night last night, and then in the morning, and then kind of reviewing this with Jay, which helped a lot on that one. So I can't believe I gave away my ads down here in the 540s, but it is what it is. Sometimes I see these plays and they're priced this much. I just need to get used to trading them. And again, position sizing and risk management is key. So I need to trade these the same way and have that mentality with the pennies. When I trade pennies, I just need to I don't have to grab like 30, 40, 50, 60K of this at $5. I can grab 15, 20K and and position size into it and not grab it all at once and expect boom. Honestly, that's where I always mess up. At as a trader for me is like when I punch it all on once, I want it to go up, but when I soak, I'm positioning, sizing into this. I'm sizing into this. I'm accumulating, so I'm not expecting it to go up only, right? I want it to pull back. I want to add more shares. I want to size into it. But for some reason, every time I just go like 10, 10, 10, 10, and I'm like, oh, wait, it's not going yet. And then like I panic and I reduce my size. But when I accumulate 5, 25, 3K, 4K, sometimes I move all my quantities around. And then whatever I get, I get. But, you know, but daily wise, this is a really nice liquidity trap. You know, it's no different than if I was trading a penny daily liquidity trap. You know, but all right, guys, much love. Peace out, Mikey.